All right, everyone, it's 7 o'clock, top of the hour. Welcome, everyone, to this Clubhouse event, Your Energy, Your Health, Be Responsible with Empowering Solutions. I would like to start first by raising the vibration in the space that we're in now by calling for the highest possible vibration, calling for the highest possible vibration, and calling for the highest possible vibration. Shall we call for the truth to come forward into our discussion today so that we may see the truth in all that we see, so that we may hear the truth in all that we hear, so that we may speak the truth in all that we say? Shall we be in that frequency of truth, and shall we have nothing but the truth? Shall we call for the power divine feminine to bring balance back into our world, showing us the way through honor, respect, and gratitude? Shall we call for the power divine feminine to bring balance back into our world and showing us the way through honor, respect, and gratitude? Shall we call for the power divine feminine to bring balance back into our world, showing us the way through honor, respect, and gratitude? I now ask that everyone take a sip of water and ask for the water to hydrate our brain and body. Water is a medium that holds memory and will assist in the flow of the information that we received today on Clubhouse. Now take a deep breath in, bringing in peace, and release and exhale everything else out. Take another deep breath in, bringing joy and gratitude, and exhale out. And another deep breath in, bringing in life into our bodies, and exhale out, releasing all that does not serve you. And Lakesh and Veritas, everyone, I call forth the oneness and truth of the information shared by each and every one of us on this call, calling in that frequency of truth and all that is truth, with honor, respect, and gratitude to you all. The greeting, and Lakesh, is the Mayan greeting for oneness, signifying unity where everything and everyone is interconnected. It is the idea of a community where we can share with one another our ideas, goals, and aspirations so that we all, as one, can benefit and thrive. And veritas is the Latin word for truth, to see the truth in all things. So therefore, Enlikish and Veritas is that declaration in which we are clearing our spaces, the space we're in now, so that we may be able to bring in and bring forth the truthful, elevated, enlightened discussion here this evening, clearing away those ill thoughts that we tend to pick up and carry with us from our everyday life experiences. In other words, Enlikish Veritas is a powerful affirmation bringing into this space a vibration and frequency that assists in bringing in clarity and a greater understanding of truth to all who are present and to all who are listening. Remember, our words have power, so it is important that we use our words carefully, using words of upliftment, encouragement, and enlightenment. By doing so as a collective, we will help to transform our spaces and places into higher frequencies that will result in better experiences in our lives. It will also help to raise the vibration of those others who we touch. So, Enlikish Veritas, everyone, with honor, respect, and gratitude. So before we begin, I would like for everyone again to hold their water in their hands and with intention in mind, send the frequency of Enlikish to your water and then take a sip of that water. Remember, we are 70% water, and water holds information and memory, thereby assisting in incorporating that elevated frequency of Enlikish into our cells through signaling into our bodies. Using this technique will allow for the ease and flow of the information we'll be sharing with each and every one of us this evening. All right, everyone. I actually want to take a moment in solidarity to talk about the protesters. This is current events now. The protesters in Iran, the many women, men, and children who are fighting for the freedom of women in Iran who have suffered many years of suppression, being forced to wear a headscarf, the hijab, covering themselves so that they're not noticed by men who are looking at them in their country saying that it's offensive. There was a recent news article called in the Mirror. It's an online news resource based out of the UK, reporting that reports on world news. And it reported in this article that Iran may execute 15,000 jail anti-hijab protesters to teach them a hard lesson. 15,000 lives we're talking about. You know, they reported that the Iranian government has killed political opponents in masses before, and they did that in 1988 during a 2-month purge, killing 30,000 political prisoners that included women and children. So in this instance, the women are declaring that they've had enough of the suppression that they've endured for several decades, and they are willing to die for the cause. Just as it was stated, I don't know if the movie Woman King, Viola stated, there's some things that you have to die for. So now, I understand the U.S. is assisting Ukraine in the fight for their sovereignty against the takeover from Russia. But, Ukraine has received a lot of support, millions of dollars in supplies. But now we have a group of people who are in need of our support more than ever before. I don't know if anyone else has any comments, but I haven't really seen any support given to them. Does anyone have any comments? No, it's kind of hard to swallow. What I'd like to do, though, for us now is to take a moment in silence in support of these women and children, these protesters, and the men supporting them in solidarity of their efforts towards freedom. Thank you for that. Now, on a more positive note, I'd like to dedicate some time to talk about inspiration. So, according to the American Heritage Dictionary, the definition of inspiration is it is the excitement of mind or emotions to a high level of feeling or activity, the condition of being excited, the quality of being excited as manifested in something. And according to the Webster's Dictionary, it is a divine influence or action on a person believed to qualify him or her to receive and communicate sacred revelation, the action or power of moving the intellect or emotions, the act of influencing or suggesting opinions. So just the fact inspiration holds an elevated frequency and keeps one in the momentum of doing something. Those women in Iran are fighting for their freedom, just as the African Americans did during the civil rights movement, fighting for our freedom. As African Americans, we've made many strides, but there are more that we have become aware of, and more that we can see that there's more things to be done, needs to be changed. So in order to see changes in our lives, we must continue to be inspired. We need to continue to look for the good in what we already have with gratitude, and then continue on our quest to seek out those necessary changes to take some actions that will better our lives, for our lives and the lives of our children. Let's think about the things, what inspires us. Does anybody have anything to share with regards to what may inspire them? All right, I'll start. So I've always had a continuous desire to learn more information and learn the truth. So for many years as a medical doctor, I was taught only one way to heal someone and to work with someone to actually assist them in heal or to heal, and was taught a particular doctrine as if there was no other way. And then I was inspired from some information that was shared uncle and some friends on alternative methods, which I knew nothing of that was shared with me during my medical training. And that inspired me to learn more. which I then took upon myself to learn more about alternatives on my own time, aside from working full time as a neuroradiologist in an academic setting. There's no information provided to us in the medical field during my training on methods of actual resources that can support us that came from the earth. The reason for this is that healthcare system was actually manipulated, only promoting one doctrine of healthcare, which was allopathic medicine, at the exclusion of all others, all started by John D. Rockefeller in the early 1900s. And you can learn more about this information that I discussed earlier in a previous Clubhouse that's titled Westernized Medicine. So I started applying these natural methods that I was learning on myself, and guess what? They worked. The very first real action I made was to become gluten free. And this action not only helped to improve my health, but it also helped to improve the health of my children. Mind you, they were kicking and screaming when I implemented the change in the house, but they now continue to follow this practice on their own, and they're better for it. And now mainstream is now starting to catch up with the many gluten-free options that are available today. Does anyone have any comments? These alternative methods helped me to get off my blood pressure medication, get me to a more ideal weight and size at my young age of 60, I must say. But I'm still on my, please, does anyone have anything to say?
In La Kitchen Veritas with honor, respect, and gratitude, this is Tiffany.
In La Kitchen Veritas, Tiffany, with honor, respect, and gratitude.
From an inspiration standpoint, I feel like so many things inspire me, but one thing that has always inspired me from a very young age was teaching people and helping people. Like
Mm,
in any facet, in any capacity, just whether I'm having a conversation and I'm educating someone, or whether someone falls down and I'm helping them up, or at a deeper level, as well. It has always just stirred my soul, and I feel like part of the reason that I have chosen to come here now and been put on this planet is to teach and
mm,
to help, and those are two of my greatest gifts. And it's interesting though, in the name of those gifts, then I went into just what seemed the most logical. Like I started studying psychology when I was in college, and then I decided to teach in a traditional high school, and it fed my soul and allowed me to continue to be inspired and to help and inspire others, but eventually at the complete detriment of myself. And so it's funny because
mm.
I know a lot of people um, who do what inspires them, whether it's professionally or personally, but then they either do it to an overzealous state, and then it, not in a balanced way, and it's to their detriment, or they follow the wrong path in that uh, topic, kind of like what I did. It served me when it served me, and then when I needed it to be different and I stepped away, I was able for it to not be to my detriment anymore. And so now I'm able to understand how to step into that inspiration in life in a way that is a fair energy exchange, in a way that continues to inspire me and uplift me, and not completely deplete me.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I guess that's why I went into the academic setting, because then I had, medical students, residents, fellows that I ended up teaching. But I got that thrill and inspiration when there was a light bulb, when they understood the information that was presented to them. It was just so
Right.
inspiring. And then now in this realm of trying to educate people with regards to their own health and natural means, it's inspiring to me when they get it and they see improvement in themselves.
I feel the same way, and I think that it's just sharing what I learn uh, to better myself, and then passing information along. Sharing how doing Ho'oponopono, or calling for the highest possible vibration, or doing a property clearing, or working with the bee. Just all the above, and sharing and teaching what each person needs to benefit themselves. Whereas before, I'm teaching 15-year-olds and 14-year-olds, Homer's Odyssey and
History.
Iliad, which are valuable, in some respects. It just, I always say, every student I talk to now, and I think I've said this on before, every former student, I always say, if I could teach you now, the one thing I would teach you is Ho'oponopono, because that's what will change your life,
I
not
know.
if you understand how to critically analyze classical literature.
I know, because they're like, what does this have to do? My kids will come home and they're like, what does this have to do with what I'm going to learn? But history does repeat itself. So
Right,
if you look at it from a broad picture,
right.
then you understand it. But the thing is that in school in the academics they teach you the minutia, and you just lose the big picture.
Well, right. And that's what I realized eventually. A light bulb finally went off, literally in the middle of teaching one day, realizing this is a false reality. This is not. And I'm going to remove myself from it now that I know.
Yes. Thank you for sharing.
Yes, thank you.
Does anybody else have anything to share? I'm sure there's some teachers out there that like to share their thoughts and experiences. All right, well, I'll move on, but I'll just have to say, as humans, one of our main goals in life is to find out what are ways in which we can optimize our own energy. And to me that's inspiring to be able to share the information, that includes the diet, mental clarity through meditation, clearing our energy from those negative motivators. So, okay, so I brought up the term negative motivators. What are negative motivators? Can anybody share? All right, I'll share. So, fear is one main one, but you can shift fear into something that's positive. For instance, those call for truth maxims are pretty awesome. There's one maxim: do the thing you fear, and the death of fear is certain, and that's powerful. And then another one, energetic from an energetic standpoint: what you fear, you draw near. That's all about energy. You're going to draw and attract all things that are negative. And how about this one? The biggest trick played on humanity is fear. Any comments regarding these statements? So I'm saying that how it ties in with inspiration, you want to have things that are motivating, positive motivations. Another negative motivator I have to bring up is doubt. Doubt leads to stagnation. And the definition of doubt is uncertainty of belief or opinion that often interferes with decision making, a deliberate suspense of judgment. So we want to have high vibrational thoughts that will motivate us and inspire us. Yes, anybody have any? Diane.
In
Did you?
Lakesh Veritas with honor, respect, and gratitude.
And Lakesh and Veritas on respect and gratitude.
Talking about doubt, doubt is, when we doubt ourselves, not only the things that we doubt of someone else, but if we're doubting someone else, we're also doubting ourselves too, because everything outside is inside. But
Hmm.
it's the doubt that we have for our self-confidence and our self-love that is really the hardest. That's the negative motivator that really gets to me for sure, and
Hmm.
probably many of us. And
Oh, yes, me too. I
just
mean,
have to keep moving past that, and understanding that the truth of all of our experiences really shows us that the doubt is not true.
right. Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
And so when we really focus on the truth of our experiences, that really removes the doubt.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you for sharing that. That is like I don't want to say it's like a killjoy, when you start having doubt. You know, when you're certain, it's powerful. You know, you're certain about something, that's power in itself. Anyone else have anything to share regarding these topics of doubt now, or inspiration, or negative motivators and motivation? You know, everyone here has heard me and review about things that we can counter those low vibrational, emotional, negative motivators. You know, just the things that Tiffany shared, as well as some natural things we can do on our own, like diet, supporting our microbiome through fermented veggies, kombucha, yogurt, eating an more alkaline diet, using cleanses such as the apple cleanse that many of us have just recently gone through, supporting our liver's detoxification, assisting clearing away those toxic thoughts. The many tools that are available to us, such as taking salt baths, using the DNA salt and Epsom salt, utilizing the meditations and affirmations, and using the sacred wood and frequency waters, which are structured waters that imprint the corrected information into our energy field so that our cells can learn the correct information to help us shift. Does anyone have anything to add? Comments? Anything to share? One thing is bioenergetics is one way that can help to identify those negative motivators affecting our lives, causing stagnation in the progression of our lives. You know, you can create an account for yourself. It's completely free. Take the time to explore in the various ways that you can support your energy that can be found on the site. You can find the link on my profile that's in the Clubhouse account, or contact me or whoever invited you, and they can direct you on how to set up for your free account.
In La Kitchen Veritas with Honor, Respect, and Gratitude. This is Tiffany again.
Yeah.
I Bioenergetics is it's so cool. It's so fascinating too how it actually works and how it can target just everything and anything, kind of like what property clearing does for or for the house. You know, it really identifies what needs to be cleared away, and then assists in clearing it away. And so thank you for bringing that forward. I wanted to just briefly mention something about the negative motivator of fear.
Mm-hmm.
Not to change the subject back, but
Yeah.
um, I I know all of these things. I know all these maxims that you read. What you fear, you draw near, um, and fear is the biggest trick played on humanity. But knowing and fully embracing and acting accordingly all the time are two different things, right? And so we were at a birthday party, my family was, and legitimately every single child was sick, and except for mine. And
Mhm.
I immediately went into fear. Like, it was so bizarre because I don't live in that frequency at all.
Right.
And
Right.
I was just like anxious, and I was really afraid, and I kept being like, oh gosh, there's green snot dripping over here. Let's go over here instead. Oh, there's even yellow snot over here. And it was like the whole party I spent navigating between which child was less sick and which child I was less afraid for my kid to play with. I mean, it was just crazy. And like, we go to parks all the time. Like, we're around people who are sick all the time, and we never get sick. Like, we literally never get sick. And I hadn't been sick in like 10 years. And all of a sudden, like the next day, we were all sick. And I'm like, you've got
Uh,
to be kidding me.
mm,
And I mean, I recognized my role in it, and that I learned my lesson from it. And so the next time we were in a situation like that, I just ho'oponoponoed and called for the highest possible vibration, and sprayed salt water over us and ionic silver after, and the outcome was different. And so it was so just so smack dab in my face. I was still anxious when we got home after it, and then I knew, when I woke up frustrated, I knew that we all had it, what I
mm.
was fearing. And so it was interesting to experience that in that energetic space in my body the whole time, and then to see it manifest, you know, to watch me draw it near and
Right.
near and nearer.
Right. Right. I mean, we know that we've all learned the tools. We all know it. It's just
Right.
a matter of practicing it.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know,
I'm energetic kung fuing things all day long, every day. Like it was so
energetic.
strange.
Ability.
That's not mine. Tavares has used that before. I definitely borrowed that.
Yes, definitely.
But I guess what the reason I brought that forward was how powerful that negative motivator is, because all day long, from the time I wake up till the time I go to sleep, I'm, raising my vibration, and I'm in a different space. But then it only takes one moment of shifting, and then there's a trickle out effect if you don't catch it
Yeah.
quick enough to counterbalance it. And so, um,
And
it,
that's what compatibility comes from, because you got to basically guard yourself from that little
say that one more time. You cut
im-
out. I don't know if you just cut
oh,
out for me.
impeccability. That's what
Yes, yes, yes. And
and
again, that reminded me that
for
there's not much room to sway.
no, no, there's not. And so, you raise your vibration, you basically you can fight off anything. You can accomplish anything.
Well, and
You-
calling for the highest possible vibration is an algorithm that disrupts and breaks apart fear.
yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks for bringing that maxim forward too. So thank you.
In Lakesh and Veritas with honor, respect, and gratitude, everyone.
Yes.
It's been a
And like
while since I've
I thought,
been here.
Aaron.
Thank you, Delilah. So I'm enjoying this conversation about fear, and it's something I contemplate a lot. How it drives us, and it's so pervasive in our autonomic nervous systems are programmed to respond to stress
Mm,
and danger. And when we look around at the world we live in, that's, from one perspective, could be all that you see if you are tuned in to the news. And Tiffany, that story you were telling about, the fear that you were feeling being in that room, and it was probably you were in training to the energy in that room where everyone was sick and afraid. And it's so hard to sort of ride against the wave, the tide, the current that is coming in, and it requires us to be ever vigilant
mm,
of you know guarding our vibration and our energy. And I was listening to something the other day that I thought was so profound, so simple, but it was just a comment on something very obvious. And you know fear is the root of everything,
right.
that in our hate, resentment, frustration, everything. It comes, you can boil it down to that one root element of fear.
Right.
And this woman was talking about her, how she, I don't know, was it Carolyn Miss? I'm not sure, but she was saying, you know, the way we live in this world, we're so used to being in the default state, and our default state, if we're not conscious, is fear and negativity. And she says, why is it that we have to take a class to learn how to love? Why do we need to take a class to learn how to be better? What, it was just begging the question, like, we don't need a class on how to be frustrated. We don't need a class on how to hate. We don't need a class on how to do, you know, uh, all the things, a class on road rage, but we do need a class or to learn how to go against. And it was just so like, you're absolutely right. We don't need classes for that. And that was just speaks volumes about, the human condition, that
Mm,
this, we're born into this density on the earth plane where we have to really push, probe, and urge our consciousness higher in order to see the game that's being played, one, and two, be able to navigate it
yeah.
to our standards.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a dark world out there. Everything it's that's promoted in the news media, the mainstream media, it's all dark. And they just push it, and then conversations. I just remember when I was working in the hospital, everyone was trying to outdo the worst thing that can happen to them.
Yeah.
And with that, it's just promoted and supported, and no one really then reveres and talks about the good things. You look at television shows and so forth.
Yeah, it's very difficult, but once you become conscious of, where the triggers are, that's why I don't watch the news. I really don't. I mean, I can read news from neutral sources, get facts, but like just to watch what they're talking about, it's so depleting.
Yeah.
And a lot of people like literally have an IV drip of news going into their system constantly throughout the day, and then they wonder why they can't sleep, wonder
Right.
why they have indigestion, wonder why they have headaches and high blood pressure. You know what I mean? So it's the understanding that it's all connected, and that's why I refuse to do it only as an act of self-love. And then when you do, move into a space, because I'm naturally sort of hardwired for anxiety. That's one of my issues in life. I'm a blood type A, and when I look at a lot of the energies in my charts, anxiety is one of the shadows.
Mm-hmm.
And so being able to, um, you know, understand that and be proactive and move into a space where the inspiration is,
Hmm.
tapping into that space, despite all the challenges that I've encountered in my own life. And it seems like we're all going through something now. And I know for all the challenges that I have, I still have that spark of inspiration. I still get excited when I think about what I want to do. I
Hmm.
still, and just engaging that space, just engaging that energy, that thought, just dipping into that well is enough to dissipate a lot of negative energy. And
Right.
so the power of inspiration is, it's like a quantum. It's not like a, oh, I have this one fear, so I need this one thing that's good to counteract. It's like one good thing can counteract like so many negative things, because the power of that energy is vast
Hmm. Hmm.
and unlimited.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree, and it's important that we keep a an high vibration and elevated vibration in order to counter all of that. One thing I know that Lota has always shared with me is that find your joy. What is your joy? Find that joy, and delve into that, and that will raise your vibration and assist in dissipating that fear that you have. You know, does anybody else have anything to share?
Find your joy and enjoy it. That's what she always
Oh
says
yeah,
to me. I love that. It's like, I love that. I don't know why, but I love that extra.
yeah, and enjoy it. Yep, and enjoy it. Absolutely, absolutely. So here today or this evening, I challenge everyone here to pick one new practice that will help bring them into a higher vibrational frequency to feel great. That's the whole idea. You want to feel great. What gives you joy? Think about that, and what is it that you should do? Take, I want you to share with me next week what new action you took, or what did you do in order to raise your vibration and to bring you joy? Because when you share that information with each other, when we share that information of that action taken, it helps all of us to move into that higher state of being. Stephanie?
In the Catch Veritas, honor, respect, and gratitude.
Like there's out respect and gratitude.
So, one thing that I use that has been an awesome tool when I feel the fear, and I normally feel it like in my stomach, in the
Mm.
solar plexus region.
Mhm.
And I'm like, okay, I'm not even going to try to identify what it is because I know it's fear. It doesn't matter what is stemming from it. I know the basis and the root of it is fear. So I call for the highest possible vibration until that feeling, that anxiety, and that fear dissipates and moves away from me.
Mm-hmm.
And it works every time. It's
Mm.
like, and each time I use it,
Yep.
that is an awesome
Thank
tool to remove the fear.
you. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's basically retraining your body, your thoughts, and your cellular structures, your cellular network to clear that fear. Because then fear is just ingrained in us because we were born. It was like we were born with fear. We're born, our mothers that were holding us, they were had some form of fear, and it transferred over to us as we were in utero. So we have to actively do things in order to clear that frequency of fear, raise our vibration, and be inspired, be motivated. Let's again pick something new, just do something every day. Those that calling for the highest possible vibration is an affirmation. Use that. Meditations are wonderful. Do that. Anything?
Yeah, and look, that's real tough. Unexpected gratitude. I wanted to add something to Dr. Delilah.
Oh, yes, Rainy, and the kitchen veritas, honor, respect, and gratitude.
I know at the beginning of each session, you always call for, highest possible vibration, and you ask everyone to give invocation to the water. Feel the oneness in the truth of the oneness in the water. And I know, because you mentioned that at least 70% of our bodies as adults are water, and the water holds a memory. And so I was thinking as Stephanie was speaking and Tiffany and everyone was speaking tonight and about you, about what inspires you and what is a negative motivator, and what's positive motivator, what's negative motivators. And I know, and you were just talking about mothers, because when we're in utero, of course, you have the amniotic fluid, which is
Yep.
mostly water. And then you're swimming in water, and as Lord always says, you're water in the water world, right? You're water
Yep.
being in the water world.
Yep.
And so if your mom was fearful, or your mom was sad, or your mom was depressed, or she's bringing over all her things when she's pregnant, that's going to be exacerbated, and it's going to be magnified through the water. And so we hold on to that, and we have an unconsciousness about it. I find that there's an unconsciousness of it. And until we change, I think it's a good idea. I found it's a good idea to find some positive ways of doing it through the whole responsibility, Ho'oponopono,
Yep.
through and Ness even shows like the scanning that Dr. Delilah is talking about. We're so unconscious. I found that I've been so unconscious of what the pattern is, that when you can see it, even in, you can feel it, like Stephanie was saying, in the pit of your stomach, you feel in your head. Sometimes you just don't feel well, but sometimes you get so inured to it, you carry it with you all the time, and sometimes when you see it, energetically on a scan or whatever, then it helps you to identify it. So I just wanted to say about the water, and how the water, once we change the water in us, that helps to change everything about it, about how we're doing things.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Cells in our bodies. Again, we are 70%, at least 70% water. So let's do things to shift that. Is any other comments to share? That was great. Thank you for sharing the information. I'm going to move on, but I'd like to invite everyone to host Responsibility, the meditation session that's hosted by Enlica Studios. It's a great way to start. Our next one is tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. And then we have one at 12:30 p.m. and 8 p.m. Start with just that. It's completely free to help, raise your vibration. Go ahead, Stephanie. Did you have something to say?
Yes, ma'am. There is a comment in the chat box.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I just got to figure out how to. Oh, yes, Sonia. Thank you for sharing. Closed mindedness, being afraid to learn new things. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see. I don't see you, Sonia, on here. I would invite you up. But um yes, absolutely. The being closed mindedness. You got to be open. You got to be open to new things and not being afraid, but that's the fear. The fear of what's to come if they don't think they can't they don't know what's going to happen, for fear of something bad happening. And that's the whole negative motivator and the thoughts of and it's just not real, like Diane said. It's all made up. You can create a whole story on something that's going to happen, that's negative. And then when you do go through that particular activity, it it was it was just all false. It was no there was no consequence behind it. So I encourage you to join the whole responsibility, again, completely free. And join us tomorrow. And then we have our Divine Nation workshops. Our next one is this coming Friday on the 18th, using the Call for Truth Divination deck, a companion to the Call for Truth publication. And you can start there. Again, it's completely free and a lot of fun to join. And I also recommend that you check out the Of the Sun website for the many classes and services that are offered for those who want to delve deeper into learning about energetic hygiene. Diane, did you want to say something?
In Lakesh and Veritas on Respect and Gratitude, you were talking about Of the Sun, and there's a new video out on YouTube today
Oh, yes.
that Laota is being interviewed by Rola Diab about breaking Cinderella. And it's very, very cool, very, very informative and interesting. A lot of golden nuggets in there. A lot of basic information from like Laocha's background and the background of of the sun, but also it's about keeping our divinity, our feminine divinity, and our sovereignty as
Yes.
women, and what we can do for that. So that's something to check out too. Thank
Oh,
you.
yes. Thank you for sharing that, because that's how we started off talking about the women in Iran fighting for the protesters fighting for their sovereignty. If we have to do it for ourselves, we are a powerful group, a powerful species. Women, we birthed everyone who's here on earth. So thank you for sharing that, Diane. And I also recommend that people look into Lota's monthly self-healing talks, where she provides a great discussion on world affairs and relates it to earth elements through the platonic solids. The next one is Air Part 15, scheduled for Sunday, November 27th at 8 p.m. Does anyone else have any comments? I thought this was a great discussion, and I thank everyone for joining and participating. I always enjoy interacting with you all. Remember, you've got homework. Find your joy and share it with us, or the one thing that you're going to take action that you've done in order to help shift your experience. Get rid of that fear. What is inspiring you? What is motivating you? That would help to get rid of that negative motivator. So I look forward to seeing you all next week for, more enlightening topics and information, more tools of empowerment, and if anyone has any information they'd like for me to share with the group, please let me know. Just message me. I'll be happy to share with everyone. So remember, knowledge is power, and taking action from this knowledge is true power. With honor, respect, and gratitude, and Lakesh and Veritas.
In Lakesh and Veritas, with
And
honor,
Lakesh and
respect, and
Veritas,
gratitude.
respect and
Well, catch
gratitude.
Veritas on respect and gratitude.